Ryan pulls over to the side of the parking lot and gets out of the car, and my eyes just well up with tears as I just watched what was happening. But there was a homeless person with a cardboard side. You guys know what I'm talking about, on the side of the road there. And you went over to him and just said, "Hey, there's a warm coffee shop. You can get some food and coffee, and this is for that coffee shop right there." And that wouldn't have happened had it not been for margins. Moments like texting your spouse, calling, sending messages, doing a note card or a card for your spouse, those things kind of fall away when you're overly busy.
This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate Marriagecast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Happy New Year, and welcome to episode 68. Ryan, this is our first full episode of 2025. And 2025.
Yeah.
So glad. Oh my gosh, a quarter of a century. That's crazy, right?
Right.
I thought about that the other week, and then I kind of forgot about that. But 25 years into this century.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We are so glad that you're here with us today. Thank you to our listeners. You're such a valuable part of this podcast. We couldn't do it without you. It wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have you. And we're just so appreciative of you really wanting to invest and work and grow in your relationship. So glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
2025. It's going to be a great year.
It's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
It's going to be better than last year, right, Ryan? Let's just say that.
Yeah, probably.
It will be.
It will be.
It has to be.
It has to be.
It will be.
So, Michelle, today we are talking about how to start the new year.
Love it.
How to position your marriage and reset. Hit the reset button on things.
Okay.
If there was such a thing as a reset button.
Isn't there a reset?
I don't know.
Some things, like what is that from? What things had reset buttons? Is that an old archaic technology?
Probably.
Like reset
I
computer.
don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna metaphorically reset today.
Metaphorically, yes. So we have a key we'll be giving you today around this concept of doing what you did in the beginning.
Yeah, Ryan, right now for my job, we are producing an awards show, and we are having it be a Willy Wonka theme. So something kind of fun that I was thinking of with this is there's a line in the movie where he's like, strike that, reverse, strike that, reverse. And I think that's just so fun. But strike that, reverse. We're going to go back and we're going to look at what did you do in the beginning of your relationship, and just kind of, like Ryan said, reset and rekindle that fire. So maybe you're at a spot where you're just feeling like things have drifted. There's more tension. There's more arguments. We're just going to share some stuff like that we've observed too. We just had an observation today, actually. And I was like, Ryan, I think that our schedules are too busy is actually impacting us in a negative way because we have no margin and we're flying around, and it's just, then you're like shorter with one another. So we've had some great realizations too, but let's take it to scripture first.
Yeah. So we're going to look at Revelation 2, verses 4 through 5. And this is where Jesus is speaking to the church in Ephesus through the Apostle John. So we're going to read from the NIV. It says, "Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken the love you had at first. Consider how far you have fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. If you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place."
Whoa.
So although this verse is directed at a church, I think it beautifully parallels the idea of returning to the love and actions that were present in the early days of your relationship. So the message here is about rekindling devotion and returning to your foundation.
I think of that, like, bring back that love.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling.
That love and feeling.
Whoa.
That's a great song. Yeah. That's a great song. But getting back to those foundational practices that you had, the honor, love, respect, and commitment. And, I think this verse is such a powerful call to reflection, whether that's in faith or marriage. It's easy to lose that intentionality and the love that we had when we first started dating, when your relationship was new. Today we want to help you identify where that drift might have happened for you.
Yeah.
and, really then bring back that love and feeling.
There we go. Theme song for the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So the first thing that you really, I think, need to do is look in the mirror, right? Like you have to really do that self-reflection. Are you where you want to be? Is your relationship where you want to be? And then, as you're reflecting, what did you do in the beginning? What did your relationship look like in the beginning?
Okay, so 2 parts, a reality of where you're at, and then kind of reflecting back about where have we drifted. Hey, one of our early on episodes was about drift. This kind of ties into that. But Ryan, what do you think are some of the reasons that people get to the spot that they don't want to be?
I think a couple of things. One, I think busyness happens, and I think
busy.
I think that's something that Michelle, you hit on that just personally.
Yeah,
I think a lot of things start coming, and you have a big list of things that need to get done, and events and places that you need to go, and all of these things, and then you're so busy doing those that intentional time together gets missed.
Yeah, I think it also makes you just kind of like in a stressed and crabby mood. I've felt that recently. We're recording this before the holidays, and it just feels like it's so busy. And I'm like, I want my heart to just be in this peaceful state. It's Advent, we're going into Christmas, but yet it's like this like Paul and Saul moment where it's like, I know what I should be doing and peaceful and entering into the Christmas, the Christmas season. But then it's like, then I find myself in this busy, rat race rut where it's like, then it's just like, you're going and you're grinding and it's just like stressful.
Yeah.
And then there's less margin. So then you're just flying around and you are shorter with people and stuff like that. But I think about Jesus too. He was never flying around so busy, right?
Right. It doesn't say that anywhere.
He seemed to have time. Like I just visualize him kind of leisurely strolling with his, his Birkenstocks and, strolling about and just leisurely going from one place to the next. Not that he wasn't intentionally going, but he had margin where he could stop, see people, have compassion, meet their needs. We talk about that often at our church, the way that Jesus lived. He saw people, had compassion, see their needs. Well, in order to do that, you have to have margin. You have to be able to actually see people, not be going so fast. But I think Jesus modeled that really well, that he had time for people. You look at different stories of the people that he healed even, and what other people saw as interruptions, he had time for, and then it would always work out.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's a great point, Michelle. I mean, it never says anywhere in scripture that Jesus was like, I'm too busy. I got to get going. Sorry. Too busy. Don't have time.
Next appointment.
I mean, I think when we look at even a story in the New Testament that Jesus tells, like the Good Samaritan, there's a reference in there to one of the people that didn't stop was so busy that he couldn't, I can't deal with that. I'm just too busy. And I think that same thing applies, is that you get going so fast, and then before you know it, like that drift has come in.
Yeah, I think it turns you inward too, because when you do have more margin, and we're kind of diving into this one topic of busyness, but maybe it's just because we're feeling it. But when you do have margin, I think you're less selfish too.
Yeah.
Ryan, I look at something that you did this weekend. We had gone to a coffee shop. I think we were getting a gift card maybe, and we had incentivized our daughter to help us again with our Christmas card project. We told you guys about how we had paid her and she would used to take, when she was in high school, she would take them to high school and write on the cards. We actually did just pay her, and she addressed them all today, which is amazing. But we had her help us with just some graphic design and we called her the project manager, and she kept us on track. So we took her out to coffee afterwards, and you had asked for a gift card, and I actually thought you were getting a gift card for someone on our list. But then we pulled out of Scooters. I didn't even ask about it. I just thought it was for work or something. We pulled out of Scooters, which is a Midwest coffee shop here. And Ryan pulls over to the side of the parking lot and gets out of the car. And my eyes just well up with tears as I just watched what was happening. But there was a homeless person with a cardboard side. You guys know what I'm talking about, on the side of the road there. And you went over to him and just said, hey, there's a warm coffee shop. You can get some food and coffee. And this is for that coffee shop right there. And that wouldn't have happened had it not been for margins. Moments like texting your spouse, calling, sending messages, doing a note card or a card for your spouse. Those things kind of fall away when you're overly busy.
Yeah.
But I was really proud of you for that, Ryan. And it really spoke to our family too.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't for our marriage, but I feel like it impacted it because you did that. I was in the car, our kids were in the car, and it just spoke so loudly of just your compassion. You saw him, you had compassion, you met his needs.
Yeah. 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 I mean, and part of that is like literally it just like, it's kind of one of those Holy Spirit moments. I think we had just heard a message about basically seeing like the least of these. Mm-hmm. And it was like that popped in my head as soon as we pulled up and I saw him and I was like, all right, yep, okay. But you're absolutely right. There needs to be margin in your schedule to see people. And
see your spouse too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that includes your spouse for sure. So we talked a lot about busyness. Obviously, I think that's a lot of what we have going on. I think the other thing that pops in my head is comfort.
Okay.
I mean, I think part of it is there's just such a comfort level that I don't know. It's sort of like, I think sometimes there can be, you stop pursuing.
Yeah.
Because it's just comfortable.
Complacent. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know. Personally, like I think those are two big ones.
Sure.
That jump out to me.
I think, Ryan, you try really hard to fight against being complacent. And I really appreciate that about you. You try really hard to go against the grain with that. And you are really intentional when it comes to leaving cards, trying to fan the flame of our marriage. I do feel like you do a great job. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, I think as we're talking about this like self-reflection and as we're looking in the mirror, part of just, I think a couple of things just jump out to me. One is date nights. Is that still exciting? Is it something that you're excited about? Or does that go back to something I check off my list? Like, oh, gotta have a date night. Check.
Yeah, and are you having date nights?
Yeah, right. Because I think if you're having date nights or you're not, I would say one, if you're not, you need to start scheduling them. Two, if you're having them and it's something you check off the box, you need to switch up what you're doing.
Yeah. And then, like Ryan just said, to look in the mirror and reflect. Think about, what was it like? Go back to the beginning. What was it like when you had those first dates? Just think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Were you excited? Were you just anxiously waiting for them to come get you or to meet wherever? And did you hold hands? Did you gaze into each other's eyes? Were you giddy with emotion and just excitement for the night to spend time with each other?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Just reflect back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how have you drifted and how can you rekindle that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go back to what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, understand like life is different. I think we fully understand that. But that doesn't mean that that flame can't be fanned.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. The other thing is like, when was the last time that you just had fun and were playful Maybe you sent, maybe a flirty text message or something like that, of something that just was playful, was fun.
Yeah.
And not so like serious all the time of, you pick up the kids here, blah, 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 schedule. Like, just, I understand those things need to be done and like it needs to be communicated, but there also needs to be some room for some fun, some play.
Right. Are you interacting with your spouse like you are business partners conducting business work and the tactical aspects of your business? Or are you communicating them as if they are, which they are, your partner, your lover? Are you communicating that love to them? Or have you fallen into maybe, going back to the busyness where it's just boom, boom, boom. Like Ryan said, got to pick up the kids, then soccer practice here and this there, pay this bill. I mean, has it become a business operation or is it a marriage of love?
Yeah.
Based on God.
That's so good. So good. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I was just going to jump in.
Yeah.
There are some you can make stickers. This old news, I know, but they're still very fun. You can make stickers out of photos. So for us, we have iPhones. I don't know how Androids work, sorry, but you can probably figure it out. They probably do something cool or maybe cooler, probably cooler. I feel like Androids kind of stepped it up. But you can go to a photo and like put your finger on it to hold it and it will do the little lightning outline and then you can save that as a sticker. So like Ryan, when he was recovering from his ACL surgery, they put a giant foil blanket on him. He looked like a hot dog wrapped up in a blanket. You know the aluminum they put on hot dogs? Like you look like you were wrapped up like a hot dog.
Yeah.
And so we made that a sticker and now Ryan will be sending a message and he'll say something like, really warming up over here, or hey, let's keep it hot, or, let's keep it warm, or something like that,
Right.
I think there's another one where just a funny facial expression that you made. And I think you were like holding your eyes wide open, and I'll send that and be, my message will be something along the lines of, wow, that's shocking, but just playful, fun,
Right.
kind of flirty, things like that is fun. Give that a whirl.
Yeah, there you go. There's a great example. Yes, I love that. Yep. So
warming up in here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a great photo. Anyway.
It's a great little invention they made.
Yeah.
They pumped warm air into this foil, almost sort of a emergency foil blanket type contraption, but then they would pump warm air in there too.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
Anyways, and now it's a great photo.
Now it's a great photo that gets...
And sticker. Yeah.
Yep.
Circulated.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I think as you're looking in the mirror, as you're reflecting, I think a couple of things, and we've talked about a lot of this, but I think again, to look at yourself, what words are you using? What tones are you using? Are you showing respect? Are you showing kindness? I think looking at what has taken over, and maybe that's kids, sports, activities,
finances. We talked with Matt Haugen a few weeks ago. That was a great episode, but maybe finances are putting stress on.
And just identify what it is that has taken over, and then, work towards going back, going back to what you did in the beginning, and just identifying that. But it takes that first. It takes looking at what it is before you can work through it.
That's great, Ryan. And I think for our listeners, just knowing that you're not alone, drift happens. You have to work super intentionally to, again, like I said, fight against that grain, to go against the grain and to prevent that. Healthy marriages take incredible amounts of work, but it's so worth it. So just know that you're not alone. First of all, you're listening to the Celebrate Marriagecast. That is an amazing thing that you're doing for your relationship. So yay for you. And again, great work doing that. And just know that small things matter too. So small steps are still forward steps. So if you can implement one or two things as a result of the show or any show, I think that's such great forward movement to be able to implement one new thing. 2 new things. That is huge. So just remember, God's grace meets us in our imperfections. over our Christmas, a couple of series there, we talked about how God can turn our mess into our message. So just know that God uses imperfect people and things, and He's not calling us to be perfect. He's calling us to be holy and faithful to Him and to really put our marriage on His foundation.
Yeah.
So I hope you feel encouraged just knowing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So He can help you realign.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good word.
Okay, so step 1, awareness. We've shifted. Step 2 is making a plan, like I said, with 1 or 2 things. And we have a few practical ideas for you to implement that might be helpful for you.
Awesome.
So, ready for them?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, 1, get something on your calendar. So I'm guessing if you guys are like us and things have gotten busy, maybe dates have started to slip to be a little less frequent. So get out your phone and put something in there. Maybe it's over the lunch hour. Maybe it's just start with a monthly lunch date or a monthly dinner date or something. Just start with something to get it on there. Write in your calendar, however you operate your family calendar, put it in there. Get those scheduled.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where time just flies so fast that if it's not on there, you're going to look back and it's going to be March, April, and you've not had a date. So get some of those on your calendar to start out the new year. Mm-hmm. Okay. 2, have a conversation with your spouse. See what their perspective is of this topic, of this conversation. So where do they see that you've drifted? And what do they remember from the beginning? When you ask them about that, what did you really love about when we were first dating? See what they say.
Yeah.
Ryan, you used to write me a lot of cards, and obviously things have gotten just different seasons of life, and it's not totally sustainable to write a card for every, 30 holidays of the year.
Yeah.
But you will still write me cards, and you make that effort, and I really appreciate that. And that's what I talked about when I said, I feel like you try really hard to not be complacent.
Right.
You do things like that. So, 3rd thing, pray over it. So this month, I love that our church, Celebrate, is doing a series on prayer, 21 days of prayer. And something probably the most powerful thing you can do to get back to, get back that loving feeling is to be in prayer with your spouse. So praying with them at night, praying with them throughout the day. And one tool that we would like to offer is our 21 days of prayer devotionals, videos. It's 21 days of prayer, 21 days. So that makes sense, right? 21 days. So for 3 weeks, there's going to be a daily video, and you can find those on our website, Celebrate.church. So it's not just a tool. It's really an invitation to go on a journey with God as the foundation of your marriage and seeing what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously I have not seen them, but I think it's a heart change. Hmm. It's a posture of your heart. When you're coming to the Father in prayer, it changes your heart. Therefore, changing your heart to others.
Yeah, it's transformative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We prayed in the car before we came in for this episode, and it's just all the busyness of the day. It was just this posture of God, just help us to realign with you, help to kind of shed off that of the worldness of running and going, and just realign us, help us to focus on you, and let them not be our words, but yours. Speak through us. So prayer is transformative. And I think that's just such an easy way to try that. If you've never prayed with your spouse, what a great way to test it out. So, and then another idea. So number 4, join a life group. So I've talked about 1, getting dates on your calendar. 2, just having a conversation with your spouse. 3, joining in on the 21 days of prayer. And I'm not entirely sure. I think they may, by the time this airs, they may have started. So you might need to go back a couple of days, but they will be there. So, or just jump in. If you can't access the back ones, just jump in. It will still be going for a while at the time of the airing of this. So, and then 4, join a life group. That has been transformative for us as well. We talked about prayer being transformative, also being with God's people has really helped our marriage.
Absolutely. I think having people that are fighting for your marriage right alongside with you is a huge, huge asset.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. And tonight we're actually having our holiday party with our life group.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. We're going to go to dinner and that's going to be really fun. And last one is just reprioritize. So doing an evaluation of what are my priorities? Has my job shifted to my number one priority? Is it work, me, God, kids, spouse? Or what is your order? Ideally it's God, and then you're working on yourself, who you are as a person in God, and then working on your relationship with your partner. And then out of those things, you're going to be really great parents. But maybe your kids have swap spots with your partner. Maybe they are your priority. And, if that's you, I would just say, I feel like that probably is a common thing for people to slip into, but just know that if you can realign that order of priority, your kids will benefit when you are working on your relationship with your spouse before them. And it's not selfish.
Yeah.
It's actually very generous to have a healthy and very, not generous, is that the word? It's very fruitful to them. They will reap the rewards of that when you have a strong marriage. It impacts everything in your house.
For sure. Yeah.
Any more you want to say on that for reprioritizing?
No, I mean, I think that's such a great word. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so those are 5 practical ways that you can start shifting things back around. And I would say this again, just to encourage you, change does not have to be overwhelming. This is a new year, but we don't have to take on the world right now. Pick one thing and implement it. So one thoughtful, forward action producing step, forward step. And let's make 2025 a year where your marriage can thrive.
Yeah, I love that.
Ryan?
I
you have
love
parting thoughts?
Yeah, I love that concept of one thing. Because I think this is the same thing. People come into January and they're going to conquer the world. They're going to do everything. And it's all of these big, huge things. And it's the old adage of everyone signs up for a gym membership in January and then they want to get out of it in February.
Yeah.
Because like they have all this, I'm going to work out every single day for 2 hours. I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to do all of this. But not understanding that one thing over the course of a year can change the trajectory of your marriage, of your relationship, with your spouse, with your kids, your whole household, as you said, Michelle, will benefit from that. And it's looking at that, even just, those small shifts in degrees can drastically change where you're at for 2026.
Yeah. And it's sustainable.
Yeah.
You're going to set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Did you just say 2026?
Yeah. I mean, 2025, right? You're changing it in 2025.
Okay, gotcha. And then
2026, you'll be like, whoa,
okay,
what happened?
All right. My brain was slow to process that.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, wait, no, wrong. Where are we again? Ryan, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Michelle?
It's mystery question time.
Mystery question time.
It's your turn to pick.
My turn to pick?
You just can't wrinkle the paper.
Yeah. I'm a crinkler.
All right, drum roll, please.
Okay, Michelle, here we go. First question
of the new
of
year.
2025. Okay, when it comes to parenting, how do you two make family and kids priority, even over your busy schedules?
Oh my gosh. Ryan, this is uncanny. I feel like the last few questions have been spot on. And there's now we have 2 questions. We're out and then people turn them in, so we have 2. But out of the 2, we picked the one that is the perfect fit.
Perfect fit.
For this episode.
Yes.
I think that we have things put on our calendar for each other. So life group is an example that we have set into our schedule. And I think also we're at a stage where our youngest is in bed around 8 o'clock. So that's a really great time where we have this routine where we'll make teas and we'll sit in our, do we sound like we're 80? We'll make tea and we'll sit in our living room and chat, or we'll watch a show or something. But really, we've watched 2 shows maybe in the last month and then a handful of Christmas movies, here and there. But for a while, that was kind of our go-to. And I'm really proud of us because now we're more likely to sit and visit and talk about our day with a cup of decaf coffee or tea.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a great shift for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to read the question one more time. So when it comes to parenting, how do you two make family and kids priority even over your own busy schedules? Okay. Over your own schedule. So then how do we make kids a priority? Well, I would say this. I don't feel like our kids are more of a priority than our marriage. This ties into the show. I do feel like a healthy marriage really overflows into their own happiness and the benefits that they get. So just security, it feels very loving in our house. And I feel like their buckets are full. And I feel like that's a result of us working on a strong marriage and a strong family home environment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm crinkling.
You're crinkling the paper, totally crinkling the paper.
I just saw you looking at me. My apologies.
There you go. You're a crinkler too.
I am. Can't be trusted with it.
Okay.
What do you say, Ryan?
So here's I think, Michelle, what you said at first was I think making your marriage a priority, I think is key to this. But I think also it's scheduling time with your children. One of the things that I would say is probably 95% of Friday nights it's pizza and movie night at the O'Connor household.
Yep.
And
it is.
It's something that our son, every Friday, he just looks forward to. And it's maybe it's not pizza and movie night Friday night, but something along those lines where your kids know, hey, every whatever, I can count on that. I can count on us coming together and, or maybe it's dinner. We eat a lot of meals together at our table.
Every dinner, actually.
Yeah. And so I think those are really important things, and they see that as a priority for the family to come together.
Yeah.
I think
if we're home, I should say, not like every meal. For example, tonight we're not going to be home, but if we're around, we do eat at our table, and I love that. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. So I think that's a way to prioritize, to have them know, hey, Friday night's pizza movie night. I think that's really critical.
Yeah, that's great. You know that it's a habit when you have your pizza shop's promo code memorized.
Oh, yeah.
Save now. Save 30%.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We won't tell you where.
Well, now people are going to be searching Save Now. It's Papa Murphy's.
Oh, yeah.
They did not pay for this promotional piece.
Yeah.
But
that's a big,
30%.
Yeah. It's good.
Secret is out. That's great, Ryan. And I think your schedule is a reflection of what your priorities are. So that is a great example. Great question. Submit your own mystery question at our text number, which is 605-951-0110. We're so glad that you listened to this episode today. We would love to hear your thoughts. And know this, you can find us at Celebrate.church/marriage with resources. Feel free to let us know if you need marriage help. We would love to walk with you. And we hope that you have a great week. We will see you for 5-Minute Friday, where we will give you an action point for the weekend. So until then, have a great week.
Have a great week.